Hi, I'm Adrian. I'm a junior, and I'll be doing the weather.
My name is Dominic. I'm a freshman and I edit.
I'm Rylan. I'm a freshman. I do lunch.
Hi, I'm Liam. I'm a freshman. I do daily jokes and policies with DR.
I'm Dawson. I do sports and policies.
Hello, this is Maddox, and I will be doing events and lunch menu.
Rainbows go when they're bad.
Where?
The prism.
That was a good one.
They needed time to reflect on themselves.
That was pretty good.
Why don't fish play basketball?
Why?
Scared of the net.
That was funny too.
What do you call a baby cow that drinks coffee?
What?
Caffeinated.
That was pretty good.
All right, then. So we're going to be here and interview Cassidy.
Thanks for having me.
All right, so start off with, how do you like the school so far?
Well, I don't just like the school. I love our school for so many different reasons. The kids, the staff, the community. I love that we're on one big campus. We have newborns all the way through 12th graders, and it just creates such a family feel. So much to be proud of, and there's a lot of pride in our community, too. So this is a great school.
All right. How about the rules? How do you feel about some of the rules?
I'm so glad you asked me about rules. I think in life, everywhere you go, any different location just has different expectations, and that those expectations have to be really clear. And what you do is you ask yourself, what is the product that we hope to achieve? And so I think the product here is we want student success, not just at school, but for when you graduate and you leave here and you attack that big bad world out there. So I think rules are important. I think that it's important to learn that there are ways to behave in different settings. I think that kids thrive in more structure. I think we want less, but actually we do better with a little bit more structure. If you know what to expect, that's calming too. So if you don't know what to expect and it's loosey-goosey, that can create anxiety for some kids too. So I think rules and structures serve just multiple purposes, and they're very important. I think it's very important.
All right, I do agree that some structure is good, but some of the rules, like the phone rule, is more talked about, because we used to be able to have our phones at lunch, and I've heard that a lot of people like being able to have their phone at lunch. What's your thoughts on that?
You know, I think that that's a very fair question. I think that down the road, we might be able to do something like that and kind of bring some of those privileges. I don't even want to call them privileges. They're distractions, but there's a time for that, and I think lunch is okay. Our problem is that when we allowed them at all, they still were out in the classrooms all the time too. And so we thought, let's just try taking that distraction away to see if it helps. And in all honesty, it's kept me off of my phone a lot more as well, because I want to be a good role model for you. And I just do not miss it. I find myself more engaged with people and more engaged with what's happening in the school. So I think we want to take a step back after this school year and assess it. Take a look at how our data looks. Did we make improvements? If we did, why? If we didn't, why? Are cell phones a part of that equation? We want to be very fair, and we want our students to be happy and feel as if they're treated with respect. So I think it's a fair question to ask. I think it would be very fair if we take a close look at it again and assess it at the start of each school year.
All right. So what are some things you think that as a school we could all improve on?
Oh, okay. Well, first of all, I think that we all have room for growth. Like, we never, ever, ever want to get to the point where we think I've reached the best. You always want to continue to grow. So I want to really promote that mindset. I think areas we can grow. I wish that we were assessed by the state in more areas than just academics. I think that, yes, academics are important, but I think there are so many other characteristics about people that make them successful in our world. And so I think areas that we could grow, of course, we want to grow academically. We want to make sure that you all have the skills you need to go out into the world and do whatever you want to do. But you also need those soft skills, that perseverance, that grit, the ability to get along with people, to not give up, to accept when you make mistakes as just a part of the process, not to give up with that. You want to just keep learning rather than reach that point where you think, I've done it all. So does that answer the question, kind of?
Yeah, that does answer it pretty well.
I got it.
Has there been any good books you've been reading?
Well, I'm a big reader. I'm a voracious reader. So I have fun books going. I think you have to have that variety. But then I also like to read to learn. And one of the books that my family found, and we're all reading it together, is Outlive, and it's by Dr. Attica, and it's the science and art of longevity, which means how to live a really long life, but not just how to live that life, but how to live it so that when you get to those last few decades of your life, you can live in a healthy way. You don't have dementia. You can still get around with mobility. So it teaches you all these different health tricks to use throughout these years and your years, so that you can actually really enjoy a longer life, and a longer life that's high quality. So that's one of my books that I'm into, and it's very science related. So I have to really be in the mood and sit down to read it. And then I just learned of a book that I want to read, and it's called Sometimes You Win and Sometimes You Learn. So instead of winning and losing, you look at losing as learning. And it's by John Maxwell, and I literally just heard about it, and he's a very good writer, a very prolific writer. So reading, I think, is and there's all kinds of ways to do it. I listen to books when I ride to school and drive back and forth, so you can listen to them. You can leave on your iPad. But I love holding a book in my hands and reading too. So, but I didn't always love reading. At your age, I did not like it at all. I thought it was the most boring thing in the world. But now it just transports me someplace else, and it's kind of my meditation, my way of escaping and relaxing. And then you learn something, and it's just really, I think it's kind of therapeutic. So, but yes, sometimes you win, sometimes you learn. And that's kind of the growth mindset I want everyone to have, and myself too, because I'm hard on myself. So you have to give yourself grace when you fall down. Just dust yourself off and keep going. Don't look at it as a complete failure.
All right, then let's ask about one more question. So I hear that you have your own book. Care to talk about that?
I would love to talk about my own book. So have you heard about a bucket list? You have these things in your world that you really want to do, and writing I've just always enjoyed. And so I just decided to buckle myself into a seat, and I had to decide what I wanted to write about. And this is my 36th year as an educator. So 36 years either being a teacher or a principal or a curriculum director, and now a superintendent. And I thought, well, why do I keep enjoying coming to work every day? What are the things that we can do so that teachers can reap that joy and want to stay in the profession? Because we're losing teachers very quickly right now. So I sat down and I just kind of made a compilation of all the things that I felt like really brought me joy in my work. And so it's all in the book. And I called it roll call, because when you take roll, that means people are present, and I want more teachers to be present and on the roll call. And then it's just the ABCs of how to not just survive teaching, but to thrive in this profession too. It's for administrators as well. But my favorite part about my book is that I tell all kinds of funny stories about what kids and parents and teachers have done over the years, and I use those funny stories to transition from one section to the next. And then I had students from Burlingame illustrate those stories. So we have a couple of students from our high school that are actually published illustrators. So I'm really proud of that. Really proud of that.
I didn't know we had any illustrators here.
Yeah, you have, and there could have been lots more. I put it out there, but I think if I'm working on another one, so perhaps there'll be that opportunity for more of our kids to understand that process. They actually got to have their pictures submitted to the publisher and the editors and selected, so they were able to go through that process with me.
All right, love to hear that. But I think that's all we have for you today.
All right, I loved it. Thanks for having me.
News, and I'm with Coach Slater. How you doing, Slater?
Doing good. It's game day, and I'm excited, and It's Monday. We're back in school. Weather's getting nicer, so it's a good start to the week.
I saw you had a win over West Franklin. How do you feel about that?
It was a good win for our girls, especially senior night, to be able to send our seniors out with a win. To be able to finish out our last home game of the year with the win was good. Proud of the girls to keep grinding this time of the year. Season, can wear and tear on you, and it certainly has for us, but the girls have stayed the course, and it was good to finish out a win and get a little momentum heading into the sub-state.
All right, that sounds good. Okay, so what does sports mean to you?
Well, sports to me has been a big part of my life. When I was growing up and your guys' age in high school, I was a 3-sport athlete, and so I never really had an off season, and it was just a big part of growing up. My mom was a coach, so I was in the gym all the time at her volleyball practices, following her team, and then my brother was a college track athlete, and he was a state champion in track, so following him, he was one of my role models. And then my younger sister was a college volleyball athlete, and she had a great career in high school, so I got to follow her. And then me as an athlete, I've had a lot of highs as an athlete and several lows as an athlete, and I was able to move on and play college football for 2 years. And once my athletic career was over, the next best thing for me to continue being close to sports and athletics and competing. I love the competing and the preparation and all that, and so that is what led me into coaching and teaching. My mom was a PE teacher, so I kind of knew at a young age I wanted to get in this field, and I also knew once my athletic career was over, I wanted to get into coaching, and that's kind of been with me for a long time. And here I am, year 13 of Burlingame, and really love what I do. Have been able to coach 3 sports for several years, and a few years ago I gave up track, but I'm still doing football and basketball, and I really have a strong passion for it and love what I do, and try to put a lot into it and give back to our community and our kids.
Oh, yeah. This past football season has been pretty good, hasn't it?
This was a really good year. It was a group that we all had our eyes on for a while. We kind of knew, growing up what this year could be, and we've had a good run the last, overall here at Burlingame the last 13 years. But this group, this year's team was a really good team, a special team. Probably we dropped down to Division II, and that ended up being the toughest division in football. We lost a heartbreaker down there at Frankfurt, but a lot of memories were made with that group, not just this year, but through the course of their career. Something special and unique about my position here at Burlingame is I get to coach all you guys and teach all you guys at a young age, and then I get to finish out your athletic career at the high school level, through football or through girls basketball. So it was a really good group. It was a tough loss there at the end of the year, but Frankfurt was a really good program, and I thought we had a great year and only one loss on the season and ran the table. Several of our kids broke school records this year. So certainly will be a group that we remember forever, and we'll continue to talk about how they approach their work ethic and approach the game and their preparation and those type of things that make a good athlete, make a good teammate, and those type of things.
All right. Well, I think that about sums it up. Thank you.
Thanks for having me.